Okay, meeting come to order. We welcome the board, we welcome any comments from the public. Anyone would like to make any comments to the board? Okay, the review of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'd like to have a motion to accept those minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the meeting of July 5th.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Looking at the bills, are there any additions or deletions to this?
Yes, I have 2 additions and 1 deletion.
Okay,
The first addition is the New York Power Authority bill. The total $74,536.79. And the second addition is to business card, and that total is $1,038.41. And then the deletion is the $986.78 under Twin State Technologies. That is to be deleted off the list of bills. And also, this is something separate, this is not an addition or deletion, but there was a check that was cut on July 13th for $8,200 to Ware Construction for 50% down on the path.
okay. Any other discussions on the bills?
Yes. On the water fees,
What page?
page 2,
Page 2,
right down to the bottom.
Stafford Owen Pillar.
Right, the 525 and the 1375. One is for a dog bite, and one is for noise ordinance on Pratt Street. Yeah. We handle that?
When the village issues a citation, you have to have someone to represent the village in court. So you have to have an attorney to do that. And that's why we do it. If we're gonna issue a citation and try to prosecute someone, we have to present the village standpoint to the judge. That's what we have the attorney for.
Oh, all right, well, yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
Anytime you issue something like that, you gotta have a legal authority there to represent us.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions?
No, just not.
All those in favor? Oh,
On page 2, invoice about halfway down, 16129. There's a check cut for $56,460.80 to Northern Insuring. It says NYMER package, and I know the word NYMER, what that means, but is that a yearly, without our treasurer here, is that a yearly cost?
we have our deputy treasurer, she doesn't really tell us.
Yes, yearly,
That's
yearly
annual?
cuts.
Okay, thank you.
That's an annual. Okay, and the other thing I got is the over on page 4, under water. We made a $150,000 payment towards the principal on our water bond. How often does that occur?
I believe that is also yearly.
Yearly? Okay. Last one on that page I've got is under sewer, manufacturers and traders,
Yep.
$11,537. Administrative fees, I know that we pay them manufacturing traders, that's for the water tank and whatever else.
That's-
in relation to what?
That's
I'm
for
just saying,
the,
but what are the administrative fees, how does that come into play?
that's for the sewer bond. And-
Sewer bond?
Yes.
Okay.
So there, if there's one underwater as well, and I believe those as well are yearly fees, administrative costs.
Okay. That's all the questions I've got, thank you.
Any other questions? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's carried. Correspondence, do we have any?
No, we don't.
Okay. You looked at me like, what?
I didn't hear the motion and the second for the bills, I'm sorry.
You did?
I didn't hear it. John, okay, thank you.
All right, first thing on the agenda, we have a list of the 4th of July parade winners. These are all listed on the website, and also they were published in the papers. I'll give you the first place of each Division, adult marching, custom to border protection, junior marching, Nancy Langlois School of Dance. Band first place, Minor Farm Daughters, float first place, D&D Meats, G's and Crow Beef Products. Horse first place, Lost Meadow Farm, Fire Apparatus first place, South Plattsburgh Fire Department, Antique Truck, Chazy Fire Department, Antique Car, 1959 Corvette by Norman Messier, and overall winner, Elgin Pipes and Drums. I'd like to thank them all for participating and look forward to seeing them next year.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to thank
Across the street.
our coordinator,
Yeah, you did a very good job.
Karen Gilroy, and the American Legion. Really worked out well. Okay, next, I'd like to take the opportunity and pleasure to appoint Mr. Charles Roush to the planning board for a term of 5 years. He's faithfully served that body for some time under the chairmanship of Mr. Cooper. I believe he's taking that, accepting that appointment again, so that'll be a 5-year appointment. Okay. Okay, next thing, discussion regulations regarding water village rates. This stems from last week's meeting. Somehow, we got sidetracked on what the water rates are based on. We started talking about taxpayers and residency, and it's really not the case. And so I did a little research, have some things for you guys to look at first. I've got several things for you and Manny. You have time? Yep. The first thing you see is from our village code, that's local law, water rates shall be based on the most current resolution of the Board of Trustees as of its effective date. On the next page, you'll see there's our resolution. And WC 1A monthly flat rate is $46. And you'll see outside the village monthly double the above rates. The next page you'll see I questioned the treasurer, who is responsible for billing for the rates and determining what they should be. I wanted to clear it up whether it had anything to do with whether a taxpayer or resident or not. Basically, it's any residential property located within the village and corporation limits pays a residential water rate. The water rate states outside the village, the above rates are charged double, and you guys see that. The next 2 pages are tax bills, the first one from our website, and the next one, you have a second one there?
Yep.
The next one from the town website, you'll see, well, there are 2 separate tax parcels. One of them is, as it states, from outside the village, and that was the property in question. The other one is a vacant lot in the village of Rouses Point, separate and apart from that original lot that we discussed. Now, Mr. Ashline self-identified himself as the person in question here. His address is 8 Prospect Street, and you'll see from the tax bill that's outside the village in the town of Champlain.
Mr. Sterling,
Oh, what did I say?
Ashland.
Oh,
My first time you do address here.
well, maybe somebody just gave me a hard thing to get there. Okay, so, there was some discussion about changing with a motion, providing relief to Mr. Sterling, thank you for the correction, because he owned land which abutted his town land, and that land that he owned was in the village of Rouses Point. It's a separate tax parcel, it's not part of his lot. But aside and apart from that, this is local law from the code. There is a law in New York State which is called the Doctrine of Legislative Equivalency. It requires that existing local legislation be amended or repealed only by legislation of equal dignity. Basically what that says, if you, whatever it takes to make the law, you have to have the same thing to do it. So you'd have to have a public hearing, you have to have advertising, all the rest of it, in order to, if we were going to try to amend the law saying that if you're outside the village, you wouldn't pay double the rates as our resolution states. Now, further, to give you a better illustration of what that looks like, here is a GIS map from the town of or from the county, which shows you the two lots. And the official tax map, you'll find right here, which shows the two lots and the tax numbers. So this, obviously, you're gonna turn this way, you're looking at Prospect, but along the bottom, and Chapman Street becomes Prospect in the town of Champlain. There's the town line, 8 Prospect Street, the entire lot is in where Mr. Sterling lives, is in the town of Champlain. The village lot is eligible for residential water rates. If you want to put a spigot on that lot and dig out to the street, we will provide that at $46 a month. That's, the village lot is separate and apart from the outside of the village lot. There is some concern also about loss of revenue. If Mr. Sterling, as he said, well, I'm not going to, I may just turn my well on. If he did that, we currently have 14 outside of village ratepayers. The total annual revenue from those accounts is $15,456. If we amend the code to eliminate outside of village rates, we lose $7,728. If we remove one ratepayer from outside the village, we lose $1,152. I think it's clear that the lot is outside the village and it's not eligible for village rates. It's based on the lot, not the person. If we were going to amend anything, we'd have to do it through public hearings, just like we would with any code and announcements. However, in this case, a loss of revenue would be extremely significant if we change the code to eliminate all outside of village rates, which we'd have to do. We can't take one lot, say this lot is eligible and the rest of them aren't. So I would hope that this clears things up and we don't get mixed up with taxpayers, residency, or anything else. It's where the lot is, and there's no question about where these lots are. You guys have any more to say about this? All clear? Okay, so Mr. Sterling's bill will remain as the outside, at the outside of the village rate, because that's where his lot's located. Okay, thank you for your attention to that.
Sir, could I ask a question?
No, you can't. You can during, you're gonna make a public comment during the,
Okay.
end of the meeting. All right. Our recreation leader has found another grant to provide benches for the rec trail that's being constructed now. Half of the paving was done today. If you take a walk out there, you'll see almost half. The rain stopped it. I believe they're gonna finish tomorrow. But Jim was able to find 4 park benches. Again, they're composite, they're not wood. They'll be in milk chocolate brown, which matches our other benches in town. We surface mount on a pad, like our other benches are, and it'll cost us nothing. And it's already been approved. So, any extra money that we have left from the $30,000, if there is any left, again, we can apply that towards some of the equipment we talked about, maybe exercise equipment or whatever we find. But it was a good find, and she's working on some other monies that are available now too, based on, I think it's some kind of a team effort that she's got going. I'm not quite sure. She'll report on it when the time comes. So that was a nice find. Okay, lastly, this is pretty important and pretty critical in basically the history of Rouses Point. Our Rouses Point Fire Department EMS is currently at a critical juncture in operations. They have insufficient number of qualified EMS personnel, particularly critical care EMTs, or they call them techs, to respond to all the ambulance calls in Rouses Point. A large number of calls in recent weeks had to be handled through our mutual aid response, where another municipality in the mutual aid system comes and responds to our ambulance calls. We have 3 techs, 2 of them are fully employed as techs for an EMS service. And we have 1 other tech who is answering, has been answering the majority of the calls, and they're all just getting plumb worn out. The guys that are working full-time, they work at night, come home and try to get some sleep during the day, and they're answering calls during the day. It's an untenable situation, and we have to ensure that our residents know they can dial 911, and there's going to be an ambulance that's going to be able to respond to that. It's critical. We can't go without that. So, to address this problem, we have to come up with a choice about contracting with a paid ambulance, emergency ambulance service to supplement our volunteer squad. And we're hoping that we can do that as the village negotiate with a paid EMS service and also keep our volunteer service to supplement it. Now, Trustee Moore is chairing the committee along with Trustee Arnold and Fire Chief LeBlanc. And I believe Sunday they met with some people, and I'm going to ask Trustee Moore to fill us in on where we are now.
What we did, we met with the agency representative for it. What we're trying to do as EMS from Sunday night, 9 o'clock, to Monday morning at 9, do that Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, have a mutual aid company come in and answer all the calls. And from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 at night, Ross's Point, we answer them, and on the weekend. Like he said, I'm one of the ones that work nights, so I can't answer at night. And the other gentleman works night, and the other, like Dan said, we're wearing him out. So if we get some relief that way, we're gonna have to pay for it. So no matter how we look at it, I already talked to the mayor and the treasurer, our taxes are gonna have to go up come June to pay for it. Because if we'd say, okay, we're not answering more calls, the state can step in and say, you're done. Okay, what agency wants to do it? They could charge us $200,000 a year. We don't know. What we're working out, this gentleman's gonna give us a price by December, you said that?
December, yeah.
What it's gonna be, that way we can budget it for next year's budget. It's gotta be done, and there's no other way around it. I mean, if it works out fine, we'll keep it. And I'd like to try it a couple months before we start working on the budget. If it's not working, we'll have to find more people to do it. But we just don't have the people to answer the calls.
We know that in the village of Champlain, I think you said we'd have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with that mutual aid, what we'd have is a paid service.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, paid service.
Yes, correct.
I know in the village of Champlain, in conjunction with the town of Champlain, they pay 45 cents per thousand of assessed valuation for their service. We don't have any idea what number we're gonna come up with.
No,
But
not yet.
once we know, we'll tell you. And we're going to find the most cost-efficient way to do this, but the residents of Rouses Point have to have emergency services protection. And
Like he said, the best thing to do is try not to get rid of your ambulance.
Right.
You know, that's the most important thing, keep your ambulance.
the only way we can do that is if the village does the contracting themselves. If we go to, for say, the township, then there's a thing called a certificate of need, which you have to demonstrate the need for the ambulance service in your area. And if you give up that certificate of need by hiring out and not doing any of it yourself, you don't get it back.
No.
And then the costs are controlled by the entity you hire. So we're trying to do this is where we're at. But again, it's a tough thing, but it shouldn't be, like a massive tax increase. We're talking, again, if you think it's $45 for a $100,000 house, if we were to go up to 45 cents per thousand. So You know, $200,000 house, $90. Make sure that you have an ambulance and you dial 911. We're not quite there yet.
So Champlain EMS is not a self-supporting entity. They're funded by taxpayers. I
No.
thought when they charged for the call, that was,
What it is, John, I didn't know this till a couple years ago. They pay, like I said, for EMS tax. That covers your ambulance fuel, your repairs, your insurance on your ambulance stop. Ambulance are $200,000. Takes a lot of years to save up $200,000. So a lot of that money for your tax dollars goes to that and the supplies. And when they bill your insurance company, that pays your employees. Because your employees are $40,000 to $50,000 a year. If you got 3 of them,
If we go from volunteer to pay what you're gonna be charging for, to pick up a patient, what if the person doesn't have insurance and has no way to pay it?
That's it.
Well, nothing
We're not
happens.
gonna pursue it legally and take.
We're not.
claims and-
we can't bill. Champlain EMS is the only one that can bill.
All right.
So if the volunteers.
Your village West Point can't do it.
Well, I realize that, but whoever takes it over, we don't wanna see some.
Oh, it's gonna be a paid service, it's gonna be one of the paid services, and their billing companies have guidelines that they have to follow within New York State. So it's the same as all, you know.
Goes
No one
into
is
your-
gonna be denied service if they say, I don't, if an ambulance shows up and say, oh, I don't have insurance, they're not gonna be denied service.
Right.
So, that's for sure.
Us, Ellenberg Depot, and the center is the only 3 that don't have a paid service. We're all volunteers.
And the thing is, the reason, one of the main reasons this has happened is, in order to be certified as a tech, we used to have a lot of basic EMTs who used to handle the majority of the calls. And over the years, over the last 10, 12 years, the state has mandated more and more advanced life support, having techs on board. The techs, critical care techs can administer medications, read EKG strips, they can do intubations, you can go on, there's a lot of things they can do when the patient first sees the ambulance arrive, he has a whole spectrum of care that wasn't available before, but the state's mandating that they have it now. And in order to get that, it's about 1.5 years to do it, and it's, to ask a volunteer to spend that much time, people just don't have the time to do it. They have jobs, they have lives, they have other things, and they can't. It's like, kind of like going to college for almost 2 years just to do that work. It's, you can't get people to do it anymore.
Definitely not on a voluntary basis.
Right. So, again, that's where we're at, that's why we're doing this, and I appreciate all the time that you guys have put in so far, and we look forward to,
Nothing's set in stone yet, Bob.
no.
We are gonna have to pay somebody to cover us.
Do you know if currently if Champlain Wars has the personnel to cover themselves and us?
That's what they gotta figure out, that's why
That's
it's,
what they gotta figure
Yeah,
out.
that's
That's why we wanna wait until.
yeah.
I didn't know if they had already made a statement saying, no,
Yeah.
we've got this number.
It would be cheaper for us and easier for them if, say, if we had to call them Ross Point, because they got a paid staff in Champlain at night. They would take their ambulance and come here with their tech, and Ross's Point would have a driver, so they wouldn't have to hire a driver. They already got a paid tech, then I have to put another one, so we wouldn't have to pay for a driver and a tech. If Ross Point had somebody to drive for, as a volunteer. But that's a lot of paperwork, and that's what we're discussing then.
I thought it was important that the residents of the village heard this now. I've spoken to Trustee Moore about this. He's has a lot of years of service. He's been a chief officer in the department, as has Trustee Mott. You've been an officer. Were you chief officer too? So, there's 3 chief officers. I've been a captain. I understand, a captain of the EMS, so I understand that. And so it's important that you all hear about this and know it's coming. But it's not gonna be a crushing blow to anyone financially in terms of taxes, but it's gonna be different. And, you know, the response time may change a little bit. It may change from, an average of 6 minutes to 10 minutes. We don't know. But there's gonna be somebody there. and we just simply can't go without it. Okay, again, there'll be time at the end of the meeting to make comments. There won't be question and answers, but if you have anything to say about it, you'll be able to say it then. Okay, do you have anything else, trustee?
That's all I
Mott?
got.
Okay. Trustee Mott?
I have nothing.
Okay, trustee Arnold?
Down to the boat launch, seeing that the water is really low, and it's really low, some of the people are complaining that they can't, their boat goes down too low. And if we put some more cement blocks in, or whatever, have the village make them big cement blocks that they usually put in, so the boats can go out further and drop their boat off. If we could, probably get,
It actually gets more shallow when you go out further. I know that sounds crazy, but people throttle up to go on the trailer and then
Yeah.
blows all the stone out there. And if you were to look, you'd see there's a hole and then it rises back up. So if you went out, you're gonna actually be worse.
We probably have to, it's below the mean low water mark, so we have to get permits to do that.
yeah,
You can't just throw things in the water.
right, yeah.
You have to, we'd have to go to DEC and
Mhm.
the Army Corps of Engineers. So, pretty involved process.
The alternative for sportsmen launch, they can buy a membership and launch out there. And then still park in the village parking lot.
Yep. All right. Garbage cans are out and stuff, we got them out, substation, or, railroad station, and other places.
Where are the other two places you have them?
Supposed to be at the pier.
Well, the pier already had one, so we didn't have to put one there.
Oh, okay, the boat launch.
Okay.
The boat launch, the, railroad station, and over by Myers,
Okay.
stuff like that, so.
You said you got them weighted down?
Yeah, gotta weight it down and stuff like that. They were gonna put a spike in the middle of them to hold them and stuff like that, but they said that somebody goes by and hits them and then pull the spike out and pull the bottom out, because they're not that, not really hard and flexible, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so they just put a block inside,
Seems to be working all right.
yeah,
Okay, good.
so. And also, the guy's been doing oil sampling up at the substation, the electric crew and stuff, getting the oil samples all done and stuff like that. Check all the oils and stuff. And I see where we got a lot of people going to supervisor school.
September, if you could.
You really, I don't know the exact price or whatever per person, but, I think Mr. Palkey, I can't see this as a basic supervisor's school for first beginning a supervisor or whatever. I can't see, he's been a supervisor for 20 years. I can't see why he should go.
Well, I don't think we should discuss, individuals during open meeting. I think, any discussions, you could speak with the administrator and see what discussions took place with that.
Yeah.
Certainly, your input is valued and will be considered.
Okay.
Then that fee's between $700 and $800 to attend that class. You said, quite hefty.
Madam Administrator, was that the amount?
$89.
It's $89.
It's right here on the credit card bill, it's $123.35 per person, $123.45 per
That's
person.
with the workbook and everything else.
Okay, my math must have been, I added up everyone's.
Okay, $129
Yeah.
with the workbook. Yeah.
129 person, thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Anything else, Ben?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, trustee Dart?
The paving that happened today, I can't believe these guys paved in this, these strong downpours we have. And I'm just hoping that the village will have their work inspected before we accept it, because I know a number of contractors that will say you can get ripple effects from paving in the rain.
Yeah, they had
And I
when
can't
it
see
started
it.
raining, they had half a tandem left, and they had to finish it.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything after that.
Right.
It wasn't raining up to that point, so.
Right. I would have thought they would check their schedule. It was well known for a few days that it was gonna rain today, that's all. And I don't want the village to accept something that,
I'm sure we'll have
doesn't come out right.
Mr. Pelkey take a good look at that before we accept it.
I'd like to ask for an executive session just to discuss something that's confidential to the village.
Okay? That's it?
Thank you.
Oh, other reports. Ms. Pelkey, do you have anything?
No.
Becky?
No.
Madam Administrator.
Hey there, I would like to thank again the Altona Corrections crew for doing such a great job on the lakefront. They came back a second time and finished it up, and I've gotten quite a number of comments, positive comments, people saying thank you for their work, so that was a big help. Thank you. I have nothing.
You have nothing? Okay. With that, we will open up the meeting. We have no other reports.
I'd like an executive session on rec center personnel.
Yep, well, we got one going, so we'll definitely do that. But first, we're gonna open this up to comments from the public, okay? So, comments from the public, please stand up, let us know who you are, and please comment on.
My name is Ernie Ainco. I'm just here, you know, like with Clifford Sterling with the water and stuff like that, because I live 2 lots up from Clifford, and I'm a widower. I live by myself. I paid, was it $92 or $93 a month, because I pay double water rate. I use approximately, I would say, 300-400 gallons of water a month. Because I'm by myself, I wash clothes once a week, I do my dishes probably twice a week, take a shower every day. That's it. I don't drink the water or nothing. And I feel that at $93 a month for a single person living by himself is a lot of money. For using 3 or 4, maybe, I don't believe I use 500 gallons of water a month. And I wondered what it would cost to put a meter on my place. The city, you know, I don't know what your gallon per water rate is, if anybody's metered or whatever it is.
Residentials are metered.
Yeah, you know, because we're tied right on the golf course line. And that's the line that runs right up through there and goes across the road, and I work at the golf course, so I know what it is. And, you know, we're tied on it, my brother's tied on it, and Clifford's tied on it, same line. And I just wondered, by using that least amount of water, you know, I'm paying, if I use 500 gallons a month, I'm paying $40 or $4 or something a gallon. Or, you know, something, I'd have to figure it out, but it's $92 for 500 gallons, you know. It's a lot of money to pay for a gallon of water to use for your house. So I could see if there's a family, like I had 2 kids in there, that was no problem. But I'm by myself now, and I don't use hardly any water. And I just want to make a comment on it, to see if there was a possibility of putting a meter on there, or I could pay it by the meter. Because I don't use that much water to pay $90-some a month extra on it for water. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, James Kirk, Columbus Drive. Maybe I worry too much, but like the recreational pathway coming in under a free or under a grant, the benches coming, no charge. I just wonder who's doing this no charge. Because I've heard when HUD, for example, if these things are coming from the federal government at all through HUD, once you accept certain things from HUD, they get their tentacles into your community. Maybe I read too much, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other comment? Okay, we need a motion for doing the executive session.
Motion going executive session.
Second? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting